This month, we'll know the future of 19 schools in the San Antonio Independent School District.
Last night, parents and community members got one last chance to share their thoughts before the school board votes on its so-called right-sizing plan. Our John Paul Barajas shows us reaction from that meeting.
That's right. Last night's meeting marks the 23rd since late September, and district officials say community feedback from those meetings could result in changes to the initial right-sizing plan. As for last night's meeting, it wasn't the busiest we've been to. However, the sentiments shared were pretty much the same as previous meetings. Those who spoke last night say they want to keep their schools open, but SAISD says it's lost more than 18,000 students since 1998, and that's costing the district money. The district adds its current recommendations is based on student enrollment, cost per pupil, and facility utilization. People we spoke to have mixed feelings on the situation.
They need counselors. They may be going through issues that they can't talk to their parents about, and we don't have anybody available full-time for them.
I wasn't expecting the community to be so strong and the teachers to be so one-on-one interactive with the kids, and it's something that we don't want to lose. It feels like it's getting taken away from us.
So the big question, what's next? SAISD officials say they'll take community feedback from all 23 meetings, review it, and then present a final recommendation to the school board. And the board is expected to make a decision or vote on that same day. Now, this is an all or nothing deal, and that vote is expected to happen Monday, November 13th. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
And CPS Energy wants to raise your rates again less than 2 years after the other rate hike. The city-owned gas and electrical utility is scheduled to present its request to the CPS board and the San Antonio City Council next week. CPS wants to up the base rate by 4.25%. It says that comes out to less than $5 a month for residential customers. The last increase was in early 2022, and even at that point, CPS officials were talking about more regular rate increases.
I can tell you we'll need to come in 2 years from now and have a conversation, and then likely this 2 years from then, we'll at least need to put a placeholder in case there's still some work to do.
And we have more information on the possible rate hike and how you can sign up to speak at next week's CPS board meeting on our website.
Today is the last day you can vote early for the November 7th election. Voters will see 14 propositions on the ballot that will either create or change state funding. To see a full list of voting sites and a sample ballot, scan the QR code on your screen. You also decide on a number of local races. It depends very much on where you live. Well, turning now to the escalating conflict in the Middle East, the fighting between Israeli forces and Hamas militants is intensifying in the air and on the ground.
Death toll on both sides now topping 9,000. Meanwhile, as ABC's Justin Finch reports, the U.S. is calling on Israel to allow more aid into Gaza.
This morning, Israeli troops pressing deeper into North Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces says its ground operation is expanding, reporting its troops have completely encircled Gaza City and are locked in face-to-face battles with Hamas militants. Israel intensifying air assaults on Hamas targets across Gaza, demolishing densely populated areas. Civilian survivors, including children, rescued from the rubble. The Biden administration calling for humanitarian pauses to allow more aid inside Gaza.
We do not support a ceasefire, and that gives time for Hamas to regroup, which is something that, again, would put Israeli citizens and others in danger.
A senior U.S. official telling ABC News the U.S. is also flying unarmed MQ-9 Reaper drones over Gaza to assist Israel with locating more than 200 hostages Hamas is holding captive. Secretary of State Antony Blinken set for more meetings with top Israeli leaders today.
We will focus as well on steps that need to be taken to protect civilians who are in a crossfire of Hamas's making.
At the South Gaza-Egypt border, the White House says 74 Americans and their families were among hundreds of foreign nationals to enter Egypt through the Rafah border crossing in recent days. American Maha Elbana, an aid worker from New Jersey, now safe and well in Cairo, speaking to our Maggie Ruley.
I have PTSD. I've been through a lot. If I hear like a loud noise, I jump. I had a panic attack. It's unbearable. So you can't really escape it.
On Capitol Hill, a House Republican majority passed a $14 billion Israel aid package paid for with money earmarked for the IRS. But it also leaves out Ukraine defense funding. That bill likely dead on arrival in the Democrat-led Senate, and the president has vowed a veto. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Now to sports, the French phenom was feeling it in Phoenix last night. Victor Wembanyama scored a season-high 38 points for our Spurs. That held off a late charge by the Suns. Spurs got away with a big win, 132-121. The Suns erased a 27-point deficit, tying it at 116 with 4 minutes left on former Spur Keita Diop's three-pointer. But the Spurs responded by scoring the next 12 points, including 10 from Wemby. In just his 5th NBA game, the 7'4" Frenchman shot 15 of 26 from the field and even had 10 rebounds. Zach Collins for the Spurs added 19 points. This was the second time in 3 days' time the Spurs beat the Suns in Phoenix. So it's a win. Up next, our Spurs come home to host the Toronto Raptors Sunday. Tip-off is at 2:30. Nice afternoon game there at Frostbank Center. Go Spurs, go.